Respected Director of Extension Education, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Deans of Constituent Colleges, and Technical Directors of Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Director ICR Atari Hyderabad, DEs of TAN Vasu and Tamil Nadu Jayalalitha Fisheries Universities, Directors and Chairmen of NGOs, Heads of TNA research stations, Program Coordinators of KVKs in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Puducherry, and all the scientists of KVKs of this region. Very good morning to all of you. Really, I feel happy in sharing my experience with all you people with respect to mechanization in rice. Actually, I'm happy to inform, I am also from KVK family. That is initial service. I had a very good service at KVK Puducherry and KVK Virthachalam, in which I learned a lot of field problems. So those problems which had molded me, the arriving suitable solutions for the farmers. So with that context, let me start this guest lecture on mechanization in rice. So all of us know very well so rice is an important food for our global population. Half of the global population consumes this rice as an important food for us. And this rice is being cultivated in 6 continents. I can say more than 90 countries. And today, if you take the area cultivation, it's also more than 148 million hectares. So in Asia, out of 100%, the 92% is produced and consumed in particularly in Asian continent. And the Asians, if you take averagely around 82 kg of milled rice per head per year we are consuming. So if you see the India's rice production with respect to different states, the West Bengal tops 13.8%, and whereas the Andhra Pradesh is 12.2%, and this Andhra Pradesh, it involves both the states, that's Telangana and the present Andhra, and Tamil Nadu is 7%, and followed by other states. So in all these states, the rice is being cultivated with a lot of basic power sources like mechanical power sources, electrical, animal, and moreover the human power which controls all these 3 major powers. So if I take the inputs required for rice production, one is the intensification of the rice. Then second is that we have to perform the timeliness in different farming operations of rice cultivation. And we are applying a lot of inputs. So all these inputs has to be efficiently applied, and we have to reap the maximum productivity in this particular crop. So the rice cultivation, if we take a whole, the human energy is predominant, through which we are controlling the other energy sources. And all of us very know it is a labor more consumption for performing different farm operations. But in whole, throughout our country or India, we can say we are not getting the labor at crucial time. And one more thing is the skilled labor non-availability is also a biggest problem. And nobody is interested in doing the drudgery-oriented agricultural operations. So if we introduce a suitable machinery which provides the comfort and drudgery reduction, definitely the educated youth, they will be attracted towards this agricultural, where the rice is one of the major crop which provides the food for the entire world. So if we take for rice, the labor requirement is you can say per hectare cultivation around 142 man days. So if you take the different farming operations in rice cultivation, so the labor consumption pattern is in land preparation, it around 11.34%, which involves the dry plowing, wet plowing, and the preparation of the field ready for the transplanting. Then the transplanting operation, which consumes around 21% of the labor. Then crop care 24.2%, and harvesting operation 18.1%, followed by threshing operation, which includes the post-harvest, that is the 25.4%. So we can see the labor is inevitable in all these major operations performed in rice cultivation. So if I come to the realistic way of doing the various farm operation, the iron plow, which is a replacement of the existing country plow, but just I want to introduce this plow is available, but nobody is using this plow. Even I can say the small farmer or the marginal farmer, he hires either the power tiller or the tractor for this operation. But as a whole, it is a opportunity for me to introduce this iron plow, which can be used for dry land plowing operation before puddling. So this can be used for irrespective of all irrespective soils, and it requires one pair of bullock, and the cost of operation it comes around 1,000 rupees per hectare, and cost of the unit is rupees 5,000. And next is this rotavator is invariably used by our farmers in rice field preparation. All of us know very well this rotavator is a secondary tillage implement. In some situations, the farmers they used to go for the cultivator as a secondary tillage implement. But primary tillage implement, if I could see in rice cultivation, nobody is using this disc plow or the moldboard plow. So immediately after usage of the cultivator, they may go for this rotavator, then they put the water. So this rotavator, if you could see, it is available in different blades number. So it starts from 36, 48, 54, 64, like this. It goes depending upon the power of the tractor, we can select the suitable rotavator. Here, I want to add one important thing is today our country, which is the #1 in manufacturing the tractors. So we are having the number of tractors manufacturers. So especially here, I want to say something about the tractors also. So this tractors is a main farm power source through which we can perform different farming operations. It provides the required power to operate the implements. Okay, so for puddling operation, especially I want to say that is a Kubota tractor as well as the rice special tractors are available. So these tractors definitely we can use it, and through which we can do this puddling operations in a nice manner. So this is a four-wheel drive tractor. This four-wheel drive tractor is attached with this roto puddler, so which provides the required depth of operation through in which we can operate the transplanter. And second thing here, the four-wheel drive tractor, it won't sink in the tractor, it will rather it will float in the soil, which provides very good puddling. And this rotopuller is having the blades not just like our rotavator. It all this rotopuller is having a J-type rotatines, which provides the chaining of the soil, mixing of the soil with water, and you will be getting a puddled field with a suitable approximate leveling. So similarly, in some areas, the farmers are using the cultivator and all other related equipments. But here I want to discuss one important thing is almost all our rice cultivated area, invariably we may use this, we are using this rotavator or cultivator. So ultimately, the rotavator or the cultivator, it goes maximum to a depth of 20 centimeter, not more than that. So only the top 20 centimeter soil alone is get pulverized. As a result, in block cotton or clay loamy soils, you will be getting a hard pan will be formed slowly. So you should break this hard pan. Then only the uptake of nutrients will be good, as well as the physical structure of the soil is also gets improved. Very good aeration, water holding capacity of the soil, everything will improve if you use the sisal plow once in 3 years. So it is a plow which is an attachment to a minimum of a tractor 40 to 45 HP tractor. So only this tool alone which goes to the soil up to a depth of 40 to 45 centimeter. So the 45 centimeter for every, so this is the center post of the tractor. This implement goes here. This is the first pass. Next pass, just the tire will be going here, and here the plow will be coming. So automatically on either side of the plow, you will be getting the vertical breakage of the soil, which provides the better aeration. So ultimately, the water holding capacity of the soil is getting increased. The sisal plow has to be used once in 3 years in almost all the fields. So next is this tractordor iron plow. In some areas, this tractordor iron plow is being used for initial dry plowing. So especially I used to say for summer plowing, this you have to use it, which conserves the soil moisture, and this is available in different rates. And here you are having a very good depth and very good width of plowing you will be getting it. Then here one important implement I want to say, this is called as a rotary spading machine. This rotary spading machine is it is an you can say it is a substitute for rotavator. So rotavator, as I said, it generates the hot pan, whereas this implement it simulates our spading operation. Here there are either you can have 4 spades or the 6 spades mounted on a common shaft. So here you are having a cranking mechanism. This cranking mechanism which provides the power transmission from the PTO shaft to these spades. So the spades just it hits the soil, and the next hit it will be having within a 5 centimeter or 3 centimeter. It depends upon the type of forward movement. So if you reduce the forward speed, you can use the even the creeper gearbox of the tractor. So through which you will be getting a very good pulverized soil. So this also you can use it for especially the rice fallow cotton, or wherein the soil requires a very good depth of plowing, you can make use of it. Then comes the ridge plastering operation. So this ridge plastering operation is one important operation which consumes the major labor. So this major labor, what we have to reduce it. Nowadays, male laborers are not at all available. So this machine is very much useful for forming the ridges and plastering the ridges around the paddy field. So here, only one important thing I want to say is that you have to form the bed, this bunding operation, plastering operation before irrigation, before puddling operation. So at optimum moisture content, you will be getting the bed size of 40 centimeter and 40 centimeter. Very beautifully, it constructs this, and the coverage is in our, you can have around 800 to 1000 meters, 800 to 1000 meters per hour. Okay. So next is rotary tiller, power tiller, which is a conventional power source used for puddling operation. In fact, this power tiller is very much useful for puddling operation. Even I can say one of the best puddling you will be getting with this power tiller only. So nowadays we are having this rice special tractor along with rotopuller. The same type of puddling you will be getting. That is, quality of puddling will be the best if you use this power tiller, rotary tiller. So here the power tillers we are having different types of Mitsubishi, Kubato, Yanmar, then even national Chinese power tillers also available. So all these power tillers you can put into use for better puddling operation. So these still the small farmers they used to have these power tillers. Otherwise, in rice cultivation, invariably you can see the presence of the power tillers, which is very highly suitable for the our small field size. So wherein you can use this power tiller for puddling operation. Then next is the tractor with the cage wheels. As I said, this has to be replaced with rice special tractor with the 4-wheel drive wheels, pneumatic wheels. So through which if you attach the rotary puller, so it will be giving very good result. So instead we can protect the soil for excess plowing. That is excess depth also we can avoid if you use the rotopuller along with a rice vessel tractor. Then one important operation which I want to focus is in rice cultivation, the entire field, the water should stand uniform depth. So uniformly we have to maintain. So all of us know very well the laser leveler, which is very well suitable for dry land leveling operation. So as such, before putting to use this laser leveler, you have to do the rotary tiller. Then you have to use this ordinary leveler with a conventional tractor. Then you have to make use of this laser leveler, which you will be having a fine tabletop leveling. So now what we did is we made a change in this laser leveler. Then we made from our university, that is called as a wetland laser leveler. So it is an attachment which cost about to this around 75,000. So which has to be attached with the existing dryland laser leveler. So if you use this wetland laser leveler, automatically you will be getting a very good leveled tabletop field. Here you are having your laser transmitter, laser receiver, then controller. All these things we can easily make it as an attachment to tractor. Then simply you go to operate the tractor. Then the entire field you will be getting a pakka leveled, so that this field will be best suited for the transplanting operation. So the almost entire field will be having a uniform depth of puddling, and the subsurface of the field will be uniformly compacted, which provides the better utilization of the transplanter. So for that purpose only, I am putting this this much focus for this wetland laser leveler. So this we can strongly recommend for efficient use of water, as well as conserve the water and to maintain the uniform level of water throughout the field. Then next comes an attachment to the existing power tillers. That is called as an axial flow pump. So this axial flow pump is very well used for drawing the water from rivers, lakes, ponds, like this. Anywhere you can install it and get the power source, get the power tapped from the power tiller of any make, and automatically you will be getting the water is pumped out at a rate of 3,000 liters per minute against a total head of 2 to 3 meters. So this also we can very well use it for irrigation purpose. It's having some other purpose also in prawn culture and other drainage schemes also. Then another important operation here I want to focus is the broadcasting operation. In fact, we used to select the skilled people for application of urea or top dressing of fertilizer in paddy cultivation. So we go to depend upon that person, especially in almost all the village sector. So if you use this equipment and this can be mounted in front of our belly and with a shoulder belt provision. So it is a lightweight only. You can put any granular fertilizer in this hopper, and just you can walk at the speed as possible for you. So on either side, the fertilizer will be distributed uniformly. It means almost all the crop will get uniform distribution of the fertilizer. And you can also vary the application rate for which the provision has been provided. So ultimately, any unskilled person can use this equipment and he can apply the fertilizers, both the basal dressing as well as the top dressing. Then next is called as seeders. So why I am telling is sometimes if you are not getting enough water at the time of planting operation, alternatively we go for the direct sowing of rice. So in that case of direct sowing of rice, we are having two types. One is called as a lowland rice and upland rice. So here just I had given a rice cum danger seeder. So here you are having this two, we can observe here a bigger hole is there and smaller hole is there. This bigger hole is for dropping the paddy seeds, and the smaller hole is for dropping the your denture seed. So at an interval of that is between the two rows of paddy seeds, at the midway, these denture seeds will be dropped, so that both will be having a uniform growth. But after 15 days or 14 to 15 days after establishment, you can make use of our power weeder or cono weeder to uh, to to take out this denture and submerge the denture crop in the puddled condition, so that it becomes a very good manure for the standing paddy crop. So this is a very good equipment, which is manually operated equipment. And this is lowland rice seeder, so which is having a, here you can see 4 rows are there, 4 drums are there. Each drum it is having a 2 holes, that is and it's very it is having a 2 continuous holes. These holes of diameter, it may vary 6 mm to 7 mm. So just you go to open this drum and put the paddy seeds just in the puddled condition. You go to pull this implement. But here two conditions I want to focus. One thing is after puddling operation, suppose if you are using this equipment for next day, then drain the water. After draining the water, and you go to use the pre-germinated paddy seeds, which has to be filled in these 4 drums, and you can easily operate it. So automatically the paddy seeds will be dropped very close to the field, and it will be just submerged in the paddy in the field. So automatically it will be placed in the particular location, and you will be having a line sowing. So between the 2 lines, you will be having a very good operation, very good width, so which will be maintained throughout the field, which provides a way for introduction of weeding implements. So this equipment here, 2 important things I want to convey for all the participants. One thing is after this usage of this drum seeder, there should not be any rains for the first 1 to 3 days. If any rains is there, means the rainwater may cause the displacement of the sown seed. That is the first trouble. And the second trouble is if you use the pre-germinated, that is a pre-emergence herbicide, then automatically you can avoid the first weeding, and the second weeding you can do with either the cono weeder or the paddy power weeder, or one weeder which I will be sowing as an attachment to a transplanter, that can be also sown. That can be also used for subsequent operation. So this lowland rice seeder is having a capacity of 1 hectare per day. It costs about rupees 4,800, and the cost of operation is around rupees 450 per hectare, and the seed rate is around 20 kg per hectare. So the seed rate, it will be having a small variation that depends upon the forward speed of the tractor and depends upon the variety also. Then this an seeder which can be used for the aerobic rice cultivation. So these also be made certain modification, and we developed for the farmers who are doing this dry sowing business. So this it's also having the capacity of 1 hectare. The cost is around rupees 5,500. The cost of operation around 400 per hectare, and seed rate we are putting some more additional. That is, instead of having 20 kg, we are having some 20 to 25 kg per hectare. Then next is called as a tractor drawn rice seeder. In some locations, even that they are using the tractor as a power source for sowing the rice. So there, this existing cultivated seeder, in which the cup feed type is altered, and which can be used very well for the paddy sowing. So through which we can have a coverage of around 4 hectares per day, and this attachment cost only rupees 30,000, and this can be also useful for sowing other types of seeds also. So the cost of operation is around rupees 800 per hectare. Here you can see a furrow closer is there. So this furrow closer, it closes the furrows opened. So here you are having a 9 furrow openers. This furrow openers opens the furrow, and the seed from the seed hopper through the seed metering mechanism, just it will be delivered through the seed tubes and entered to the boot, and it will be just dropped. Then subsequently, the furrow closer, it closes the seed. So just it is a shallow ploughing over which the shallow ploughing furrows were opened and seeds dropped and closed. So this is also a successful implement. Then in some conditions, I think in central part of India or northern India, the seed cum fertilizer drill are directly required for direct sown rice. So here the one is seed hopper and then is the fertilizer hopper. Here you can see there are two tubes for each row. One tube is for seed placement and another tube is for fertilizer placement. At any cost, there will not be any contact between the seed and the fertilizer. So minimum you will be having a 1 inch to 2 inches difference between the seed and the fertilizer. Either you can place the fertilizer on the side or you can place the fertilizer at the bottom of the seed. So both the ways it is possible. So this also you can use it for the dry sowing. Then coming to the transplanting operation, we are having n number of transplanters varying depending upon the power source. One is the manually operated transplanters, then walk behind transplanters, then riding type transplanters. So initially we were having the transplanters getting imported from Japan, Korea, China, Taiwan, and Thailand. So nowadays in Indian companies also they are starting manufacturing these transplanters. So these transplanters, if you want to use it, we require a nursery that is called as a mat nursery, which can be very well used to for raising the seedlings. So it is must for manual transplanting as well as the machine transplanting operation. Here, this conventional method of raising the paddy nursery using mat type. So after 14 to 15 days after growth, you have to cut the mat, then take this entire mat and load it in the tray of the transplanter, then you can use it. But see that the nursery should be given utmost care so that the transplanting operation you will be getting the better planting. So here in the transplanting, I want to say one machine that is called as a tray nursery. So in the tray nursery, we are putting the tray loaded with either a sieved soil, composted soil, and if you do automatic manual operation of this seed dropping, seeds will be dropped and it will be covered subsequently with the soil. Then you are placing it and you are closing in a separate area, then covering. Then after covering, you will be having the seeds, seedlings grown like this. Then comes your SRI vibratory tray seeder. So SRI system rice intensification, it requires 25 centimeter into 25 centimeters spacing. So for that purpose, we designed and developed a separate tray seeder, which involves a media filling unit and seed dropping seed unit, which involves the hoppers, and the entire thing is mounted on a tray conveyor. So here you can see the vibrator is placed. So these vibrators, two vibrators are placed. So these vibrators helps us for singulating the seed dropping over the trace. So let me show the actual operation. So this is your tray seeder. In this SRI tray seeder, you are putting the seeds here. Here you are having a channelized trays are there. So here the seeds just dropped in this each channel and it will be placed in the tray in a line. So here the seeds requirement is also less and the seeds are placed in a line. So automatically the fingers of the transplanter, it takes the required quantity of the paddy seedlings and it plants in the main field. So here this this base is also very much important. Then comes the rice transplanter manually operated. So as I already said, we go to use the mat type seedlings, and the capacity of this transplanter around 0.25 to 0.4 hectare, that is around 1 acre per day, and the cost of the unit is 7,000, but nobody is coming forward to use this type of transplanter. Then comes the walk behind the rice transplanted. All these things are either from Japan or China or Taiwan. So here also you go to load this tray seedlings, then you go to walk behind. Okay, so this operation is also drudgery operation. Then comes our this trade type. You are having a 6-row or 8-row riding type transporters are available. So, but all this equipment does the work. But still, I can say, either you can go to for the next operation. These are called as the self-propelled rice transplanters. Number of companies are coming. So one is our 6-row transplanter ride-on type. So 4-wheel drive. Here you can see the mat tray nursery raised ceilings are loaded, and the fingers it tricks the ceilings, and it just plants in the main field. So here each hill it may have either 4 to 5. So if you want to have 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, it equally depends upon the media as well as the variety. So then only you can possible to have 1 or 2 seedlings per hill. So this is a very good equipment which reduce the drudgery of labor to walk behind the thing, to walk behind the instead of walk behind, he can feel comfort and he can use it. Then so this is the field view used by 6-row ride-on type transplanter. So initial for the initial field after 5 days, then after 10 days you can see wherein the row to row equal width is maintained, uniform width is maintained throughout the rows, which helps us for performing weeding operations with advanced implements. So just I had given a list of transplanters: Escort, Sargrada, Varshapriya, Redlands, Kubato, Mahindra, VST Anji Sakti, VST Sakti. So here, why I'm putting this, invariably all these transplanters are having a row spacing of 30 centimeter, except this Redland and the VST Anji Sakti, which is having a 25 centimeter row to row, and the plant to plant spacing is 25 centimeter. So these two transplanters we can have for the SRI transplanting, and other transplanters are so possible for using maintaining the row to row spacing of 30 centimeter. At the same time, you can also change the plant to plant spacing within a row, starting from 12 centimeter, 13 centimeter, 15 centimeter, and 19 centimeter, depends upon the machine make and model. So here also you are having 4 rows, 6 rows, 8 rows. So the cost of the transplanter, it also varies. And here one thing you just observe, the minimum horsepower is 3.5 HP and maximum horsepower is 20 HP. The 20 HP means it is a ride-on type 4-wheel drive 6-row transplanter. So if you go stage by stage, the cost is also increasing. The cost is just I had given the approximate cost. Now the cost is also getting increased. Then comes to this Kono weeder. The Kono weeder, actually this weeder is developed. Then later we did some modification with respect to ergonomically, so that the operator he feels comfort in operating this machine. Actually, this Kono weeder requires a man, a heavy male through which he can put this heavy force and he can operate it. This does a very good very good push and pull action, and the capacity you can see only 0.1 hectare per day. The weight of the unit is also 5.5 kg, and the cost of the unit is also 1,200 rupees. And other type of weeders which we have developed and which we are recommending is also called as a finger type boundary weeder. And here we are having a single row as well as the twin rows. So you can also use a single row and a twin row. The twin row weighs about 6 kg, and this also does the operation of weeding operation of in first or second operation. Then comes our SRI power weeder. So this is a system rise intensification power weeder. So in which you are having provision to change the weeding mechanism suitable for dry sowing, wet sowing, and transplanted field condition. So this is a power operated power weeder. So through which you can get better weeding, and these rotary blades, what it does is it removes the weeds and cuts the weeds and implants, submerges the weeds in the soil itself. So this is a very good equipment, and which can be very well used for weeding operation in any transplanted field or directly sown field. Accordingly, you have to change the row to row spacing. So this is equipment which had yielded a very good royalty for our university from the commercialization activity. And next is called as a power weeder for the ride-on type transplanter. So just you replace the transplanting mechanism with this weeder. So this is a very good equipment. Just recently we had made, and the cost of this attachment is around 35,000 only, and the capacity is also very good capacity. Then comes the harvesting and threshing operation. So harvesting and threshing operation is a very good important operation. Here, why I see actually it involves a lot of labor. So initially we developed for cutting the crop, harvesting crop. One is called as a vertical conveyor reaper of 1.5 meter, 1 meter, and 0.75 meter. So three types are available in this vertical conveyor reaper. So depending upon working with 0.75, 1, and 1.5. It does two operations. One is the harvesting operation. The harvested paddy crop, just it will be windrowed. So this is suited for the non-landing paddy crops, and the diesel engine, it weighs about 5 horsepower is 5 HP, and capacity of this unit is around 1 hectare per day. So the cost, it also ranges from 75,000 to 1 lakh, depending upon the working with. And cost of operation, it around 1,500 rupees per hectare. So initially this equipment performed well and liked by our farmers very well. But the thing is, here also you have to walk behind, and just it cuts the crop and windrows the crop. So what we did is another equipment that is called as a reaper binder. Reaper binder, which does two operations. One is a harvesting operation, and another is the harvested paddy crop. Just it will be made as a bundle, and the bundled crop, it will be deposited in the field itself. So this also one of the equipment very good. But thing is, these also again suitable for the non-logging type of paddy crop. So you can see how the bundles are formed and how the bundles are dropped. You need not walk behind. Just you can sit comfortably on the seat provided in the machine, and you can just remove the bundle, and the bundles you can later transport to the drying yard. Then you can use the threshing. So these also the thinking equipment. But for that also requires, that is a harvesting, we require a separate machine, and threshing we require a separate machine. So, but So we combined both the operations, which is done by a simple machine that is called as a mini paddy combine. Here, what it does is it combines all the operation. One is the harvesting operation, then next is the threshing operation, then it is having a small blower which blows out the unwanted material, and the harvested paddy crop, a paddy grain, just it will be collected in a bucket. So just it's like a miniature of a paddy combine. So just like our power tiller, you can sit on the seat and you can just ride the unit irrespective of the field. Even if the field is irregular or small, there also you can use it. Only the requirement is at the corners of the field, you have to put some gunny bags. Once this bucket is filled, the filled grain can be just loaded in the gunny bags, which is provided at the corners of the field. So this cost around rupees 3,50,000. So having a capacity of around 2 acres per day. So this is also a reel. So that reels just it allows the crop, and separate cutter bar is available. The cutter bar cuts and cut crop, just it fed to the feed roller to the threshing drum. So threshing drum, it threshes the paddy, separates the grain, and the grain will be deposited in the bucket. So this is suited for the small farmers and the marginal farmers, wherein they can own this unit and they can use this unit for harvesting any type of paddy crop. Then comes the self-propelled rice combines, which is very much popular in almost all rice belt areas. It's available with wheel type as well as the chain type. So chain type, it is suited for the soil, for the crop where the standing water is available at the time of harvest. And if it is a dry, there we can use this wheel type. And the cost of this machine is around 16 lakhs, which is having a capacity of 4 hectares per day. So this is a cutter bar, this is a feed roller, this is a reel, which cuts and takes the crop inside this threshing drum. Then the threshing drum, it does the threshing operation. The threshed grain, it will be loaded in a bin. Then after the harvest operation is over, you can unload the grain. So this is one type of self-propelled combine where the engine and your machine are integrated. So, and another type is called as a tractor mounted combines. So here I can say the Punjab models. So this is an attachment to the tractor. So this can be easily transported from one area to another area. So this also costs around 12 lakhs to 14 lakhs. And the capacity of this combine is also 4 liters per day. Here, only one thing I want to share is whatever may be, whether it is a wheel type or a chain type, all these things does the very good combine operation. So the thing is, you have to select the time of harvesting. There is an optimum time of harvesting is essentially required. So if you have a delayed harvesting, automatically there will be losses. If you have a premature harvesting, then also you will be having losses. So depending upon the variety, whether it is a short term or medium term or long duration, you have to see the recommended harvest period. The recommended harvest period will be around 2 to 3 days. So between in the 2 to 3 days of the variety recommended harvest period, you have to use this machine. So if you use this machine in the recommended period of harvest, automatically you can reduce the shattering losses. This is one important thing which we hope to make it possible at the field. And second thing, the cutter bar has to be overhauled, properly maintained, because this cutter bar is the important machine part which does the cutting, that is a harvesting the standing paddy crop. So if the blades are blunt or not softened, then automatically which provides the, you cannot get the total cut crop, you may get around a partly cut crop. So which provides the shattering losses. So normally in a combined used field, the 3 to 4% is recommended as per the BIS standards of our combined harvester permissible losses. But if the combines are not properly maintained, then automatically the losses goes up to 7% to 8%. So if you want to avoid these losses, try to use these combines, whether it is a wheel type or chain type. That is the optimum days of harvesting recommended for the short duration, medium duration, and long duration variety. So if you use that period, automatically you can reduce these losses. And one more combine which I want to share is called as a combine which does beautifully cut the crop. Okay, it does two cutting. One is your panicle cut and another is the base cut. So panicle will be cut, ear heads will be cut separately and it will be thrashed, and the thrashed grains will be stored in the separate bin located in the machine itself. And the cut paddy crop, it will be just windrowed in the field itself. Suppose if you want to have whole crop without any cut, that's also possible. So if you want to 2 to 3 cut, that's also possible. Why I am insisting is nowadays this paddy straw invariably used to as a fodder crop, as well as which is having a very good market value in mushroom industries. So if you want to have the same, there is only one cut at the paddy, that base cut alone, that's also possible. So here these two cuttings, one is panicle cutting and another cutting is whole crop will be cut and it will be windrowed in the fields. So this machine which does very good beautifully for any type of soil. Next is this usage of this chain type conveying. You can just see how the windrowed paddy stalks are placed in the soil. So next is a very good important thing called as a rake machine. So you can use either type of a combine, whether it is a wheel type combine or the chain type combine. The grain portion just it will be thrashed and it will be stored in the machine itself. After cut, the crop will be just in the field itself. So now I want to collect all the harvested crop. This rake, what it does is, it rotates in a direction, then it collects all the cut crop. Then this arrester, what it does is, it arrests and make it as a windrow. So cut crop will be windrowed without any loss. So just to collect the harvested paddy crop, it will be windrowed and it will be made as a single row, which provides a very good way for using the next type of machine is called as a baler machine. So baler machine, here two types of balers are available. One is called as a round type baler and another is called as a square type baler. So round baler is getting very much popular among the farming community. So they cut a paddy crop and collected by your rake. So those will be just collected and made as a bundle, and bundle will be just dropped in the field itself. So the bundle weight of the bundle, it may have 25 kg to 35 kg, depends upon the variety. That is one thing. And second thing is, so this bundle can be easily transported to the location. And second thing is, after harvest, 1 or 2 days, you leave the crop in the main field, then you make use of this machine. Then almost all the crop will be, harvested crop will be collected and made it as a bundle, and the bundle will be baled properly, and it will be put in the field itself. So round baler, there is no problem. So automatically, yeah, very good. The highly rolled bale will be just dropped in the field. So this round baler for transport purpose, which accommodates more space. So to avoid that only, we are having the square balers. These square balers will be of highly useful. So that square balers can be easily made. That also attachment to tractor. Instead of round, you will be having a square baler. So those square balers you can easily load in a truck or lorry, through which you can transport to the wherever it is used for water crop or for mushroom industry. So at a nut, I want to clearly indicate here. So both grain is also marketed, and the paddy straw is also marketed without having any wastage. But here the stubbles are present here. The stubbles cutting, that is at what height you are cutting, that depends upon the level of the field. If it is a perfectly leveled, then the stubble will be having a 2 to 3 inches, not more than that. If it is not perfectly leveled, then the paddy straw will be wasted in the field. So that's why initial of the lecture itself, I said the paddy should be planted in a tabletop leveled field, which yields subsequent operations for easiness and effectiveness. That is your planting operation, as well as the weeding operation, then harvesting operation, and this baling operation. One thing I didn't show any of the equipment for plant protection. So plant protection, nowadays almost all our farmers are going for this knapsack mist blower. So now attempt is being made as an attachment to the ride-on transplanter. That is, I said, that is a ride-on four-wheel drive transplanter, in which the sprayer or some hormone application is required, through which you can do the spraying operation, one thing. And nowadays, another equipment which is introduced by private people, that is unmanned aerial vehicle, that is a drone. Drone spraying is also done for some of the crops. So, but our observation is still we have to do with respect to type of nozzles, at what height we go to do the spraying operation. So research is going on in the usage of drones. So drone, we are having two types. So one is a battery operated drone and engine operated drones. And we are trying to optimize the nozzle type of nozzle, and nozzle spacing, and height of spray in which we go to operate the drone. So that's why I didn't include that drone type of spraying. And that's all with respect to the implements, machineries available for paddy cultivation. So my humble request to all the participants is go for this four-wheel drive rice special tractors, wherein you will be avoiding this usage of the cage wheel. And second thing, you will be incorporating the roto puddler. Along with this rice special tractor, you will be having a very good puddling, as well as leveling of suitable area. Okay, so with this background, I think I had covered almost all the operations of the paddy mechanization. If you have any doubt, you can free to ask. Thank you for the opportunity given to me.